It's almost time for the releases of the new cars, and one of the most anticipated on is of course the RB19, the successor of the sometimes unbeatable RB18. And it looks like some details and plans have already been leaked. Today, we're uncovering those. The term hidden revolution becomes more suitable to describe the RB19, the most recent rumors regarding the new Red Bull, which will be unveiled in New York on February 3rd, indicate that the design advances will be considerably larger than what the car will depict. It should be noted that the single-seater presented in America is by no means certain to be the real RB19. In fact, the Milton Keynes team could follow the script followed last year, when a simple dummy was presented, then revealing details at the unveiling of the new RB19 in Bahrain in pre-season testing, which will precede the first Grand Prix of the season by a week. The rumors are intriguing because it appears that while there will be a significant relationship between the RB18 and the RB19, the latter will be a completely new single-seater in terms of aerodynamic design, making fundamental alterations to what was one of its most competitive elements last year. According to sources close to the Milton Keynes team, 90% of the new car's aerodynamic surfaces will be different from those of the RB18. While if Red Bull appear to throw everything out the window for the RB19, the following question arises. Is design consistency the key to avoiding design penalties? Essentially, CAD volumes and surfaces will alter within the extremely rigorous technical rules. Simply said, the curvatures, fillets, edges, angles, and development of the surfaces in direct contact with the airflow will change. In actuality, the RB18's many components will not be interchangeable. To be clear, all surfaces in direct contact with the airstream include not just the visible ones, but also the floor, which will undergo design alterations in addition to changes targeted at preventing porpoising. They will, in reality, involve the volume, sections, and profiles of the Venturi channels. This would have been possible because to a precise examination of aerodynamic performance and data obtained last season, which allowed the technicians, led by Pierre Wash and Adrian Newey, to identify meaningful margins for improvement over the RB18. Such upgrades appear to be extremely difficult to achieve on paper, given the severe limitation of aerodynamic resources that the Milton Keynes team has this year compared to their direct rivals, not only as a result of the championship victory, but also as a result of the penalty imposed for exceeding the budget cap. The choice to maximize the project's first maturation looks to be intentional, bringing a single-seater that is already theoretically mature onto the track. This strategy appears to allow the team to tangibly minimize the number of innovations, as well as the number of studies and analysis necessary, in order to properly manage the more restricted simulation and research resources of 2023. And as the Red Bull RB18 clearly represented the greater interpretation of the 2022 F1 technical regulations, it looks like they had great feedback during the season. And not only that, but it was also the least influenced by the season's rules amendments, meaning they didn't have the start over during the season. The outstanding handling of the phenomena of porpoising, aerodynamic jolts, which had returned on F1 cars this season as a remnant of the ground effect single-seaters, was a noticeable feature of this car. Aerodynamic properties of the RB18's floor structure, along with the geometry and seeming simplicity of the front suspension, allowed the car to control the impacts that caused the jolts. This effectively eliminated any bouncing noticed on the Ferrari or Mercedes. The RB18's performance, along with that of the Honda RA622H engine unit, was built on the ideal blend of aerodynamic performance and vehicle dynamics. The steady weight loss of the car, which was over the 798 kilogram limit at the start of the season, was a clear relationship between these two aspects. The design team, directed by Pierre Wash and directly overseen by Adrian Newey, recognized right away that one of the aspects capable of creating performance was a controlled management of stiffness for the middle area of the bottom. It was critical that the lateral peripheral parts did not incur any deformation. This prevented the floor from forming an aerodynamic block with the extremely low ride heights, nor did it cause the structure of the airflow under the car to break, which would have exacerbated the porpoising. Throughout 2022, the crew has prioritized weight reduction and the gradual renovation of the floor. The information gathered throughout the season, even in the case of minor positive feedback, such as the debut of the new floor introduced at Silverstone, allowed the technical office to lay the groundwork for the RB19, while maintaining the same priorities that characterize the development of the RB18. The entire downsizing of the car to quickly meet the minimal regulation weight is at the heart of the RB19 project. The lower rear section of the chassis will be designed to allow for the partial housing of the cooling system. So what can we expect for the RB19? What kind of changes will Red Bull implement if they are, so to say, starting all over again? While it looks like Red Bull are trying to make the car with similarities with the previous car, next year's Challenger has adhered to two principles that will define its fundamental rebirth. Weight reduction and a whole lot of aero changes are coming for the RB19. Weight reduction was the foundation of the project's first aims, which began with the concepts, which were never realized with its actual implementation, of the lighter chassis that had been widely debated during the summer. The RB19 monocoque will be around 3 kilos lighter than its predecessor. The floor will be lighter than the previous one thanks to the new regulation that raises the elbow, the section connecting the Venturi channels, by 10mm and the side profile in front of the rear wheels by 15mm, while maintaining a high degree of stiffness in relation to the shape of the sides, preventing deformation in the peripheral portions. The gearbox case and suspension element location should be distinguished by a lower narrowing, which increases the section of the lower Venturi channels. In terms of upper aerodynamics, the overall shape of the side pods will be distinguished by a refinement of the cutouts under the side pods, which provide a double floor impression, while preserving strong points of contact with the 2022 model. At the base of the side pods, there'll be an expansion to the rear of these cutouts. The RB19 should not surprise in terms of shape, since the RB18 construction solutions and vehicle design will stay identical, but they will undergo a significant evolution. There will be some obvious similarities between the 2023 single-seater RB19 and the preceding one. The profile of the channel beneath the side pod, which will be increasingly dramatic towards the rear, is highlighted in the figure above. The side pods will retain the squared intake design, with a lower lip forming the front top border of the underside of the side pod channel. The floor, like on the RB18, forms the foundation of the RB19's aerodynamic philosophy. Following the limitation in flexibility allowed by the new guidelines, the regions of greatest involvement concern the center area and the elbow of the diffuser. According to rumors, engineers have managed to maintain the weight of this piece lower than the most recent iteration in 2022. But what about the livery? Will this be similar to previous years, or is this the reason the RB19 will be different from the RB18? Well, Red Bull has teased a possible livery change for the 2023 Formula 1 season, but historical experience says supporters shouldn't get too enthusiastic just yet. The team posted what seemed like a base model of their car in mainly white bar a blue Red Bull logo on the engine cover, with a comment, 2023 a blank canvas. It will have its 2023 launch event in New York next Friday. However, it is unclear whether the new RB19 will be presented or merely a color scheme on a display car or 2022 model. Last year's Red Bull launch included a notably primitive version of the RB18. Red Bull's post might be a true clue that it is preparing a reassessment of a look that's altered very little in its F1 history, that it is planning on a unique pre-season testing livery, or it could simply be a fun social media tease ahead of launch season. Its previous suggestions of trying something new with its color scheme were not followed through on when it came to the car it actually put on the Grand Prix grid. What are your thoughts? Will the RB18 sport new colors? And will it look completely different to the RB18? And what about the performance? Are you expecting to see Red Bull back on top when the season starts again? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. We appreciate the support. We'll see you in the next video.